Problem 11. Find the Fourier sine transform of f of x is equal to e power minus ax by x, a greater than 0. So this is the question given. Let us see how to find a sine transformation for this. The first thing, solution. So here I want Fourier sine transform, and we know what is the formula of Fourier sine transformation. So first we'll write that formula. So we know that the Fourier sine transform Fourier sine transform is given by, so what is the formula? It is fs of u is equal to integral 0 to infinity f of x into sine ux dx. So this is the formula for Fourier sine transformation. This already we have discussed in the last class. So let us substitute a function now. If I substitute a function and integrate, we get what is the sine transformation for this. So your entire thing depends on integration. So let us substitute our f of x. F of x is e power minus ax by x. So this is equal to integral 0 to infinity. It is e power minus ax divided by x into sine ux dx. Right? So we have substituted the function. This is u. So e power minus ax by x into sine ux dx. If I integrate this, we get what is a Fourier transformation. But how to integrate? This is the question here. So what is the method we can apply? See here, if I don't have this x, the denominator term, if I have only the numerator e power minus ax into sine ux, I know the formula. It looks like e power ax sine bx. So we know the formula for that. We can apply that formula and integrate. But because of this x divided by x, I cannot apply that formula. And even I cannot apply the Bernoulli's rule also, because if I apply Bernoulli's rule, nothing becomes 0. So this will keep on continuing, because when you differentiate sine, it becomes cos, then cos becomes minus, it will continue. And e power, when you integrate, you get e power only, so it never becomes 0. And moreover, you have e power x by x, you can't integrate that. So lot of complications we have in order to integrate this. So we don't have a proper method. Either it is a Bernoulli's rule or a formula we cannot use to integrate this. So when we have such functions, we did in the last class, when integration is very complicated, when we can't do, I can go for Leibniz rule. The Leibniz rule means I can differentiate this relation with respect to say u, so that when I apply Leibniz rule, here some derivatives will come. I may cancel some functions, and later it may become easy for integration. So after integration, you get a differential equation, dfs by du is equal to something. So that differential equation, I can solve it by using the known method, solving of a differential equation of first order. So that's how I can proceed. So when integration is complicated, with the help of Leibniz rule, I can convert this relation to differential equation, and by solving the differential equation, I get the final answer. So that is what I'm going to do for this problem also, because integration is not easy here. So let us apply Leibniz rule. I mean, we differentiate this with respect to u using the Leibniz rule of differentiation under integral sign. So let us do that. Differentiating with respect to u using Leibniz rule of differentiation under integral sign. So what we get? So the left hand side, it is dfs by du equals RHS. It is d by du of integral 0 to infinity e power minus ax by x into sine ux dx. So I'm taking derivative on both sides. Now when I applied Leibniz rule for the right hand side, so you know this derivative, I can take it inside. When I take it inside, this ordinary derivative d becomes dou. So I can write this as integral 0 to infinity. It is dou by dou u of this e power minus ax by x into sine ux into dx. So just I'm differentiating partially. You can observe this. Now this is equal to, this implies it is dfs by du equals, it is integral 0 to infinity. See here, with respect to u, you are differentiating. Partially means this x term is a constant. I can keep this e power minus ax by x. It is free from u outside. So I'll write this as, it is e power minus ax by x into differentiation of sine ux with respect to u. So differentiation of sine, you know, it is cos ux into differentiation of ux with respect to u. So with respect to u means x constant, x into differentiation of u is 1, x into u is 1 into outside dx, right? So this is by applying chain rule. So that if you observe this, x and x gets cancelled, x and x gets cancelled now. So now further, this implies dfs by du equals, so this is just, if you look at this, it is integral e power minus x cos ux. It looks like e power ax cos bx. And you know the formula for e power ax cos bx we have discussed in the last classes. So it looks like e power ax cos bx, where a is minus a, where a is equal to minus a here, b means u. So a is minus a and b means u. We can apply the formula e power ax cos bx. So what is the formula of e power ax cos bx? It is e power ax divided by a square. A square means minus a whole square plus b square. B square means u square into a means minus a cos bx plus b sin bx. B means it is u sin ux, u sin ux. So this is between the limits 0 to infinity, right? So this is by applying a formula e power x by a square plus b square, a sin bx minus b cos bx. So the formula was applied, right? So this already we did, same thing I did, integration. Now I have to put the limit, x is equal to infinity first, upper limit, then x is equal to lower limit, 0. Right. So here this a square minus a whole square is plus a square plus u square is constant. I can take it outside. It's dfs by du equals this 1 by a square plus u square is constant. Let us take it outside. First we put x is equal to upper limit, infinity. So if I put x is equal to infinity here, it becomes e power minus infinity. We did in the last class. E power x is infinity means e power minus infinity. And you know e power minus infinity is 0. So 0 into this entire thing becomes 0. So the upper limit becomes 0. So e power minus infinity into this. Minus lower limit, put x is equal to 0. So if I put x is equal to 0, so this term becomes e power 0 and e power 0 is 1 into, so put x is equal to 0 here, it becomes cos 0 and you know cos 0 is 1. See 1 into minus a, it is minus a plus here x is 0 means sin 0, sin 0 is 0. So it is minus a plus 0. Now see minus a into this minus, it is plus. So this is equal to, it is a by a square plus u square. So on simplification we get a by a square plus u square. So you get dfs by du is equal to this. So if I integrate this, this is a differential equation we got. It is a first order DE. And you know, when we have a first order differential equation, so to solve that first order equation, I can use the separation of variables. So there are two variables here. Two variables here. One is fs, another one is u. So let us separate now. Left hand side we keep fs and right hand side we send du term, I mean u term. So I can rewrite this as, this implies it is dfs equals, it is a by a square plus u square into du. So you can observe that the left hand side contains fs and right hand side contains only u term. The variables are separated. And once the variables are separated, you know, to find the final solution, I can integrate. So just integrate this. On integration, we get, so now, so it is left hand side integration of dfs is equal to RHS, a constant, it is integration of 1 by a square plus u square into du plus the constant of integration c. Now we know integration of dfs is fs, or I can write fs of u. So because fs is a function of u, I'll write fs of u is equal to the right hand side. It is a into, now this looks like 1 by x square plus a square. And you know integration of 1 by x square plus a square is, it is 1 by a tan inverse of x by a. X by a means u by a. So the formula I am applying, 1 by x square plus a square means 1 by a tan inverse of x by a. X means u. Tan inverse of u by a plus c. So this u gets cancelled. Sorry, a gets cancelled. So we get, this implies fs of u equals, it is tan inverse of u by a plus c. So this is the Fourier sine transform for this. But here we have a constant of integration. If you want, you can evaluate this value. So you can find out the value of this c. So that means, so you have to put u is equal to some value for this, and you have to find c for this. So here I'll call this as equation number say 1. Now to find the value of c, I'll just put u is equal to 0. Put u is equal to 0. So we get fs of 0 equals right hand side. It is tan inverse of 0 by a. That is 0, tan inverse 0. And tan inverse 0 is 0 plus c. So this implies c equals fs of 0. And what is fs of 0? See here, just observe this integral. Fs of u is equal to this. If I put u is equal to 0 here, fs of 0 is integral 0 to infinity e power minus ax by x into sine 0. So u is equal to 0 you are going to put here in fs formula. So sine 0 is 0. 0 into this entire thing becomes 0. So therefore fs of 0 will becomes 0. So I'll write c is equal to fs of 0, that is 0. So this is because fs of 0 is equal to 0. Right. So if I substitute this in 1, substituting in 1, we get fs of u equals, it is tan inverse of u divided by a, and this is the required Fourier sine transformation for the problem. So this is the Fourier sine transform for the problem here. This is how we can find the Fourier sine, and even cosine is there, means instead of the sine you will take cos. So this is how we can find sine and cosine transformation for a problem here. Write the heading Z transforms. Z transforms, a very important topic now. So Z transformation, actually it is very much important for the students who belongs to EC and electrical, because their entire signals and systems depends on these Z transformations. A very, very important concept. It is almost same as Laplace transformation. Okay, so whatever we did in Laplace, almost same thing will come. Okay, so first let us start with the definition of Z transformation. There is a 1 or 2 properties, we'll discuss them, and first away I'll move to the standard formula of your Z, standard formula list of your Z transformations. So let us start with the definition. So I'll just write the definition first. If un equals f of n defined for all n that is equal to 0, 1, 2, 3, etc. I mean positive integers, and un is equal to 0 for n negative, n less than 0, then Z transform of un is denoted and defined as, so the notation for Z transformation is this. I'll write Z suffix t, zt of un, zt of un, or it also be written as u bar of z. So in Laplace you'll write L of f. So here z of f or z of un. There it is f of s you'll write, here you write u bar of z. So the formula is, it is summation n is equal to 0 to infinity un z power minus n. So this is the formula for Z transformation. So this is how we can define our Z transformation. If un is a function defined for all positive integers of n, and this is 0, un is 0 when n is negative, n less than 0, then Z transform of un is denoted as zt of un, z suffix t of un or u bar of z, and given by the formula summation n is equal to 0 to infinity un z power minus n. See, the summation also is nothing but integration. Integration and summation means same. Okay, so this is also a part of integral transform. So the actual meaning of integration is a summation. So Z transform is for a finite case, so we are going to write summation here. Summation n varies from 0 to infinity un z power minus n. This definition you have to remember. So this is how we can define Z transform. Now we have one important property in Z transformation. So we'll discuss the property first. Property. Z transform of n power k is equal to, it is minus z into d by dz of Z transform of n power k minus 1, where k is a positive integer. So this is one of the most important property of Z transformation. They may ask this property also to prove in the annual exam. But more than the proof of this property, I'm going to use this property while deducing the standard results for Z transformations. So this property is very, very important for the deductions. While deriving the formula, I'll use this. So Z transform of n power k is equal to minus z into d by dz of Z transform of n power k minus 1, where k is a positive integer. So let us see how to prove this property now. So the proof. So to prove this property, I'll consider the right hand side. Consider RHS equals. So it is minus z into d by dz of Z transform of n power k minus 1. Right. Now this is equal to minus z into d by dz of, see, for this term I'll apply the formula of Z transformation. This formula I'm going to use. So now Z transform of un is summation n is equal to 0 to infinity. It is un z power minus n. And what is un here? So in place of un we have n power k minus 1. Just compare here. So here I can write here un is equal to n power k minus 1. Apply the definition. So it becomes, it is summation n is equal to 0 to infinity un means n power k minus 1 into z power minus n. So just I am substituted un is equal to n power k minus 1 in the formula of z transformation. Now let us interchange these two. We'll take this d by dz inside the summation sign. I'll rewrite this as, this is equal to, it is minus z. It is summation n is equal to 0 to infinity. It is d by dz of n power k minus 1 into z power minus n. So let us take this inside. These two can be interchangeable here. Now let us differentiate. So we need, the meaning of this is you have to differentiate this right hand side, this term. What is the derivative? How to differentiate? See this. This is equal to minus z into the summation n is equal to 0 to infinity. See, with respect to z, you have to differentiate this. Means this n power k minus 1 is constant. So you can keep this n power k minus 1 as it is. N power k minus 1 into d by dz of z power minus n. So it looks like x power n formula, n x power n minus 1. So the derivative is, it is minus n into z power minus n minus 1, right? X power n formula, n x power n minus 1. This is the differentiation of this. Let us simplify this. This minus into minus plus. This is equal to sigma n is equal to 0 to infinity, right? See here, the bases are same. You can add the powers. N power k minus 1 and this is n power 1. So this becomes n power k minus 1 plus 1 if I combine these two. And here power bases are same. Z power minus n minus 1 and z power 1 here. So just combine these two. It becomes z power minus n minus 1 plus 1. Because this power was plus 1. So that this minus 1 plus 1 minus 1 plus 1 gets cancelled. So we get, this is equal to sigma or summation n is equal to 0 to infinity. It is n power k into z power minus n. So therefore we get right hand side. So this is right hand side. RHS we have taken, that is minus z into d by dz of z transform of n power k minus 1 equals. So this is the RHS we have considered, right? RHS is this. Consider RHS. I have written that RHS is equal to, see this term. So this term, it is sigma n is equal to 0 to infinity n power k z power minus n. See, it is nothing but, see, sigma z power minus n, z power minus n. Un is nothing but n power k. So if you compare, this is similar to the definition of z transformation. The only difference is instead of un, we have n power k. So this term can be written as z transform of un means a z transform of what we get. Un means n power k. So I can write this as z transform of un. Un is n power k here. So this is the z transformation of this term, n power k. And this is the required thing. This is the left hand side. So this proves our property. So this proves our property here. This is how we can prove the property of Z transformation, and this is one of the most important property here, right? Okay, so we start with Z transform of standard functions. So like Laplace transformations, here also some standard functions are there. So first we'll discuss the Z transformation for those standard functions. So while solving problem, we'll use them. So under that, the first one is Z transform of k power n. So I can write like this, Z suffix t, Z transform of k power n. So if I derive this formula, I can use this while finding Z transform of 2 power n, 3 power n, etc. here while solving problems. So let us see how to derive this formula now. Proof, derivation. Okay. See, let us choose the function. See here, what is un? Un means the given function, that is k power n here. So un is k power n. And we know that Z transform of un, the formula is equal to sigma n is equal to 0 to infinity un into z power minus n. So this is the formula of Z transformation of un. So here un is k power n. Let us substitute. This implies Z transform of k power n is equal to the sigma n is equal to 0 to infinity k power n z power minus n. Right? So I have just substituted the value of un. Un is k power n. So how to simplify this? So just see this one. So I'll write here. This implies Z transform of k power n equals, it is sigma n is equal to 0 to infinity. 0 to infinity. So it is k power n. Shall I write this z power minus n as 1 by z power n? Correct? So I can bring this to the denominator, 1 by z power n. So that I can combine these two and we can write this as sigma n is equal to 0 to infinity. It is k divided by z whole raised to the power of n. Let us combine k by z whole power n. Right? So this is a simplified expression. Now it is a summation series where n varies from 0 to infinity. So let us give value for n now, starting from 0. Let us put n is equal to 0. So it is k by z whole power 0 and whole power 0 is 1. So the first term becomes 1. Just expand this. So this is equal to, it is 1 plus, when n is 1, it becomes k by z. K by z. Plus when n is 2, it is k by z whole square. When n is 3, it is k by z whole cube plus so on. Right? So just I'll give you, n is 0, you get 1. N is 1, k by z power 1. When n is 2, k by z whole square, like this. So this is the series we got. Now what we can write here? This series is what? What is this series? It is a geometric series. It is like A, first term A into R square, R cube, and so on. Where this A is, I'll write here, which is a geometric series with A is equal to the first term 1 and the common ratio R is equal to k by z. Correct? This is the common ratio. Now divide here. K by z whole square by k by z. You get k by z. K by z whole cube by k by z whole square. K by z. So the common ratio is k by z. So it is a geometric series with first term A as 1 and common ratio R is k by z. And you can observe that it is a summation up to infinity. Correct? It is summation here, sigma symbol. Summation up to infinity. It means it is a sum of an infinite geometric series. And we know that there is a formula to calculate the sum of an infinite geometric series. So we know that the sum to infinity of geometric series is the formula. So it is like this, S infinity is equal to A by 1 minus R. Correct? So this is the formula for sum to infinity of a geometric series. Suffix infinity is A by 1 minus R. Let us substitute now. So therefore we get Z transform of k power n. So Z transform of k power n is nothing but sum of an infinite series. So the sum of the right hand side will be calculated by using this formula. So it is A. A means 1 divided by 1 minus R. R means k by z here. So take LCM and simplify. So this is equal to 1 by, so Z is the LCM. So Z is the LCM here. So 1 into Z, Z. So it is Z minus k. So this z I can take it to the numerator. So this will go to the numerator here. So therefore it becomes z by z minus k. So therefore I can write, so z transform of k power n equals, it is z divided by z minus k. So this is the z transformation of your first standard function, that is k power n. So this is how we can derive the standard formula for z transformation of the first function, that is k power n. A very important result here. So second one, z transform of n, that is, I want this z transform of n. So I want to find what is the z transformation for this. So just a minute. Okay, so proof. So like a previous one, so here also, you know, our un is so let un equals, you know, it is n. I'll just divide the sheet. Un equals n, and we know that z transform of un, the formula is, it is sigma n equals 0 to infinity un z power minus n, and since un is n here, let us substitute in this. So you get z transform of n equals, it is sigma n equals 0 to infinity n z power minus n, right? N into z power minus n. Now I can write this as sigma n is equal to 0 to infinity n by z power n. Like a last one only, z power minus n, I can take it to the denominator. N by z power n will come. Now let us expand this by giving a value for n, like a last one. So first n is 0. So this becomes actually 0 divided by z power 0 is 1. 0 by 1 is 0. So the first term becomes 0. So this is equal to 0 plus, when n is 1, it becomes 1 by z. Put n is equal to 1 by z. Next, when n is 2, it is 2 by z square. And when n is 3, it is 3 by z cube. Plus when n is 4, 4 by z power 4. Like that it will continue. Now this is equal to, see in this result, I will take 1 by z common. So let us take 1 by z common here. So 1 by z is common. So therefore this term becomes what? When I take 1 by z outside, this term becomes 1 plus second term is 2 by z plus next term is 3 by z square plus 4 by z cube, etc. like this. Now what is this? What type of series this is? So this looks like it is an expansion of this 1 minus x whole power minus 2. It is a binomial expansion. 1 minus x whole power minus 2. It can be written as 1 plus 2x plus 3x square plus 4x cube and so on. So this is the expansion we know. 1 minus x whole power minus 2 is 1 plus 2x plus 3x square and so on. See here, in place of x we have 1 by z. So let us here, right here, x is nothing but 1 by z I can take. So therefore we get z transform of n equals, see this. So if I put 1 by z is equal to x, it is 1 plus 2x plus 3x square, etc. So this one I'll keep it as it is, 1 by z only. This outside term I'll not do anything. So it is 1 by z into, so here the formula is 1 minus x whole power minus 2. So it is 1 minus x. X means what? So taken, x is 1 by z. So let us put here 1 by z. 1 by z whole power minus 2. Just I'm putting x is equal to 1 by z in this formula. 1 minus x whole power minus 2. We get this. Let us simplify this. This is equal to 1 by z into, take LCM. So LCM is z. So it is z numerator z minus 1 whole power minus 2. Or I can write this as 1 by z into, so this one power minus 2 is there. Let us reverse it. So it can be written as z by z minus 1 whole power 2. So this minus 2 is there. So it is something like a by b whole power minus 1 means I can write b by a. So if I split this, we get 1 by z into, here we get z square divided by z minus 1 whole square. Z square by z minus 1 whole square is splitting. So that one z gets cancelled here. I can cancel one z. So the remaining is z by z minus 1 whole square. So therefore we get z transform of n equals, it is z by z minus 1 whole square. So z transformation of the second standard function n is, it is z by z minus 1 whole square. So this is the second standard formula, right? So this is how we can derive the z transformation of standard function k power n and n. So like this we have other functions also.